Like to have everybody's attention for a moment.
There's a stat. I don't like bringing up stats, but there's one stat about the Panthers.
In the world is James Harden better scorer than Michael Jordan?
No, he's more creative in that.
Traveling is not creative, Brandon.
He doesn't.
No matter what the score is, and they've said it themselves, whether they're up 10, down 20, whatever, they know they can turn it on whenever.
Why did you have to bring up the Cowboys in this conversation?
Lived in Texas for 2 years and just could not stand to watch Cowboys football.
All right, listen up.
Welcome to The Rundown. Here's Desmond Johnson.
Welcome back to The Rundown. I am your host, Desmond Johnson, joined by my man, Hot Rod Funderburk. And we had a couple things going on over the past week. We wanted to run down with you guys some things that caught our attention. Rod, how was your week so far here as we enter into this weekend?
Week's going pretty well so far. I'm just like everyone else. Too much rain, very little sunshine. Would love to see the sun shining on my face just a little bit more. My grass probably looks like the jungle because of all the rain and stuff, man. So I'm hoping it'll clear up just a little bit so I can get out and cut my yard. But other than that, things are great. Always good to be on the show with you, man. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, just getting by like everybody else is and trying to stay busy. Actually, it's been super busy. A couple of laundry notes rundown brought to you by Blue Naples Pizza in Kernersville, as well as Body Patterns Fitness and Wellness in Kernersville. They've got online fitness classes available. Sign up today. The greatest NFL team ever tournament is on and popping right now, brought to you by The Rundown. We are in the first round, 64 teams, all Super Bowl winners, plus some at-large teams that didn't make it all the way, but were damn good. So they're in the tournament as well. Those episodes are at Sports Carolina Monthly on the YouTube channel, Sports Carolina, one word, monthly. If you search that and go to the YouTube channel, you can subscribe, get info on whenever new episodes drop. We are almost done with the first round, and it's created some crazy matchups for the second round. So we'll give you some updates on when we will be doing the second round of the greatest NFL team ever here shortly. Three quick things with Rod Funderburk. Some things that caught my eye this week in the world of sports. That I guess you can call it the world of sports right now, as it's slowly starting to come back. The main thing for me and you, talks of the NBA returning to some sort of capacity. A quick question for you to begin with, Rod. How do you feel about the NBA just foregoing the remainder of the regular season and just starting off with playoffs? Or do you feel like they need to have some sort of, regular season? And if that's the case, are you inviting all 30 teams? Like, what are your initial thoughts when you hear that the NBA may be returning? They're talking about basically taking over Disney World in Orlando. The entire NBA, their families or whatnot, they would be all in one spot, and it'd be almost kind of picture it like a AAU tournament, sort of, where like you have multiple teams in the same spot playing against each other. I kind of picture it like that. So if there's any sport that could pull that off, it would be the NBA. Those players are used to being in those types of tournaments and situations throughout their career. But what were your initial thoughts when you heard about this? And would you like to see part of the regular season still, or would you rather them just jump right into the playoffs?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is, hey, it's Disney World, and there's going to be families of NBA players that are going to have a great time. They get to see Mickey and hang out, have a great time in sunny Florida during this time of the year. But my initial thoughts are, it's very late in the calendar year. So as far as bringing back and trying to finish the regular season, I think that would be very difficult. But I think they should go right into the playoffs because, you have 16 teams pretty much that are ready to go into the playoffs right now, the top 8 seeds from both conferences. And, the other guys who aren't going to be able to make the playoffs, a lot of them are saying, hey, what's the point maybe in going if we're not going to make the playoffs? What's the point in playing in a tournament? Has Mark Cuban says that he wants to have a tournament style and have all 30 teams involved. With it going that way, I don't think that a 30-team tournament style would be the way to go. That's not what I want to see. I think we'd be wasting time because there needs to be a buffer time period where players can actually get into shape. It's hard to say that they're in shape now, especially when the order across most of the country has been stay at home, don't do anything, don't get involved with people. So there needs to be a small time frame where the players can interact, get that chemistry back. Because, I had the LA Lakers and possibly the Milwaukee Bucks in the finals. But with those guys having the layoff, there's no chemistry right now between them. They may need to gel a little bit more together. I mean, we could see two totally opposite teams in the finals, in the NBA finals, if it goes that way. So my initial thoughts are give them some time, let them get acclimated, let them get, the chemistry going, let everybody, get up to par and being in shape, at least basketball shape. And then just take the top 16 teams, start the playoffs, because we're still behind the ball, 8 ball as far as the calendar year goes. And then I think if that happens, what will bleed over into is whatever mistakes are made with the NBA. I think the NFL will benefit from those mistakes by not making the same ones during this COVID-19 phase.
So I'm looking at the standings in the NBA as they stood when the world stopped back in late March. In the Eastern Conference, the 8th seed is Orlando. They're 30-35, but they are a good 6 games ahead of the 9th seed, the Washington Wizards, and our beloved Charlotte Hornets are in the 10th seed with a 23-42 record. So maybe you can get by in the East, maybe just stopping with those 8, which would be fine. But in the West, it's a little different. It's kind of jumbled. From the 8th seed is the Memphis Grizzlies. They're 32-33. And then right behind them, there's a group of really 4 teams that are within 2-3 games of the 8th seed. Portland was right behind them when everything stopped. They're 29-37. The Pelicans, Zion Williamson and those guys, they won 28. They're 28-36. Sacramento's also 28-36. And then the San Antonio Spurs are in the 12th seed, 27-36. So they're all kind of right there. Dame Lillard was on Jalen and Jacoby earlier this week, and he had mentioned the idea of, I guess they're talking about doing some sort of play-in tournament, maybe. It's been discussed. I wouldn't mind seeing maybe like a 4-team Western Conference play-in tournament where you have like Memphis versus, or actually, I don't know how you would do this here, because Memphis, on one hand, I can understand the argument. Memphis is the 8th seed when they stop, so Memphis should be like, why should we play anymore? Like, I mean, we stopped at a certain date. We were the 8th seed at that date. If that's what we're going to do, then why are we giving these other teams a chance to take us out of our spot? But then if I'm somebody like Portland or the Pelicans, I'm like, look, we were only 2 or 3 games behind. We had like a month to go. Like we could have, and we were playing the Grizzlies in those stretches, so we could have determined our own fate. I could see some sort of play-in tournament, but you can't do it for just one conference. You'd have to do it for both sides. And if you do that, now you're talking about including teams like the Wizards, the Hornets, the Bulls, the Knicks, teams that have no business being in the playoff, but now they've been rested for 2 months. And, say you do a play-in 1 game off type tournament, and all of a sudden Charlotte wins 3 in a row, and now they're your 8th seed in the Eastern Conference going up against Milwaukee. Like, I mean, is that something we want to do, or is it better just to be like, okay, because of what's going on in the world right now, we're going to take the 8 teams that were in those spots in the Eastern Conference, the 8 teams in the West. Sorry, Portland. Sorry, Pelicans. Better luck next year. And just go from there. I'm kind of at that point. But to what you were saying, they probably need some games before the playoffs to get warmed up, right? So how are they supposed to do this? I mean, you don't need all 30 teams there in Orlando. It's going to be basically a TV event at that point. You won't really have fans. So how do you do this where you basically just throw them out there and go, hey, playoffs, week 1, let's go. And like, there's no ramp up or anything, because that sounds like what they're going to end up having to do. That's what the NHL is going to be doing. They're just going 24 teams into the playoffs, and boom, they don't have a start date, but it'll be sometime, I think late June, late July is what they're saying. So are you cool with them just abandoning the rest of the squads and just taking the top 16 teams in the NBA?
Yeah, if I had to make a choice, I would definitely choose the latter and just taking only the top 16 teams. And again, it has to do with 2 reasons. Number one, we're so late in the calendar year. The playoffs would have already been started by now. We'd be looking for the finals to start, probably next week, if not this week here.
Yeah.
The finals will be starting already. So we're already behind. And the second reason is COVID-19 was just, I guess you could put it in the category of a natural disaster. It's not anything that we really had control over as people. And I think if you take the top 16 teams, the top 8 from each conference, what that does is it says, hey, this is where these teams were. We're taking these guys because of, again, in the time frame of where we are. But for next year, possibly that helps these other teams who did not make it say, hey, we're not going to play around. Forget load management. Load management is an issue. A lot of these teams have lost games because of load management, and maybe they're not in the playoffs because of load management. And due to the fact that any natural disaster can take place, if you allow the teams who are not in it to be out and not even have a chance to get in, maybe next year they take the season and what they do a little bit more serious, and they start winning those early games. And they say, hey, remember last year what happened? We were out and we were only 2 games behind. And what that does is that, brings more ferocity on the court between the teams. And then that gives the fans a better product to watch if the fans are able to come out and watch them again next year. And then as far as being able to come in and, do you start playing them immediately, or do you give them some warm-up games? Well, I feel like you give them just the time to get in shape, and you give them maybe the time for the teams to practice and gel together. And everybody's still going to be on the same level. If no one had a practice playoff game, then, hey, no one had it. Or if you want to give them, or if you want to give them a practice, allow them to do one exhibition game with whatever team.
So the one thing with the NBA that they've been wanting to do, I know Commissioner Adam Silver has talked about this, but they've never really pulled the trigger on it, was doing away with the Eastern-Western Conference playoff the way it normally is, where it's just the West against just the East until the finals. They've talked about doing a 1 through 16 seeding. They've never pulled the trigger on it. Would this be the time to do that now, where you basically would have the Bucks would be the 1 overall seed, the Lakers would be the 2 overall seed? You're talking about having someone like Orlando, whoever it was I just said a second ago, that's in the 8th spot in the East. They would be the 16 seed. So you would start getting some kind of matchups East versus West early on in the playoffs. But for me, I'm kind of a purist. I'd rather it stay the way it is. East on this side, West on that side. They didn't talk about this in the 90s when the Bulls were bullying everybody in the Eastern Conference. It was just like, well, actually, I take that back. Back then, the Eastern Conference was the tougher conference. The Western Conference wasn't as tough. It was when Jordan retired and the West became the tougher conference. And then it was all like, oh, well, we need to figure out a way to make the first round more enjoyable, I guess. Stop messing with it. Just leave it the way it is, and we're good to go. I don't need to have the seedings change. To me, that changes the way records are and things like that from before it happens. So I don't know if you had a take on keeping the seeding the way it is, or going to a 1 through 16 seed, all of them mashed together type format.
I do like the way that the format is now. You have your East versus your West, number 1 out of the East versus the number 1 in the West in the NBA Finals. However, if you want to do something different, now is the time to do it. This whole COVID-19 allots you the opportunity to be able to do something completely different, out of the ordinary. Again, just because where we are time frame wise in the calendar, we're here at the end of May, getting ready to go into June, and it's finals time already. So if they were going to do a 1 through 16 seeding, please do it now. Now, the difference with that is you get the truly best teams, I think, because sometimes, we've seen playoffs and you go, okay, well, the winner between the Warriors, the Golden State Warriors, and say, the Houston Rockets, more than likely they're going to win the whole deal. You know what I mean? Or the winner between the Rockets and, I don't know, the Lakers, they're going to win it all. We've seen that a few times. Well, with the 1 through 16 seed format, then it could be a true deal of the 2 true best teams are playing each other's in the finals.
That's true.
So that's an option. But like I said, I like it, the East versus the West, number 1 out of the East, number 1 out of the West. But if there's a time to try something new, I think you do it right now.
And I'm still sticking to my Lakers versus Celtics prediction for whenever this kicks off. It sounds like the NBA, while they want to go ahead and get this in, they do not want to be playing their finals or whatever in September when the NFL is going on. Like, nobody's even thinking about trying to cross over into that realm or whatever. So whatever happens, they probably need to be done by the end of August to just get it out the way. And then we'll see if they start the next season on time. There's still so many variables out here with COVID-19 and everything else going on. You are watching The Rundown. I am Desmond Johnson, joined by Rod Funderburk. Another quick bit that kind of came out this week. We've been seeing these videos of Mike Tyson on social media, like looking good. Like I saw a picture of him from 2-3 years ago where he's kind of bloated, he's kind of out of shape. And then I'm seeing these workout videos, and my man is like dangerous. He's dangerous again. And there's talk that he has signed some sort of exhibition match that he'll be fighting here soon. Mike is 52 years old. Is there anybody out there that you'd want to see Mike Tyson take on an exhibition match, whether it's a real boxer or just somebody you don't like? Like, is there somebody out there that you'd want to see Mike get in the ring with right now?
I mean, to be honest with you, if Mike's going to come back, I want Mike to be in the best shape possible. I need Mike to be able to take a punch. And I'll be honest with you, if Mike's going to come back, have an exhibition fight against a nobody, whoever, then after that, I'd like to see him take on either Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury. You want to know why? Because they're the best of the best. Mike Tyson was the best of the best. If you're trying to make a comeback, Tyson, you're either back or you're not. You know what I mean? And he's at the age, he can't wait another 2 years to try and fight that kind of pressure. Those guys are that kind of pressure. And I'd like to see Mike either come in or go out immediately. Nothing in between. Period.
Wilder, I think Wilder got exposed in that last Fury fight, though. Like he kind of, that might be a better matchup for Wilder versus Tyson. Although, I mean, we're talking about guys that are 20 years younger than Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
So, but I would say somebody like Deontay Wilder, he strikes me as the type that, although he's 20 plus years younger than Mike, he's going to get in that ring, and in his head, he's going to be thinking, this is the dude I used to watch as a 9-year-old kid, like try to murder people. Like, I'm about to fight that guy. Like, I mean, there's a psyche when you walk in against him, I guess, after seeing these workout videos. He's got his speed back. I mean, he's tearing people up. I saw him. It was a video of him, and there's so many belts and stuff out there right now. It was a heavyweight guy. He was in like a studio, and Mike was like coaching him, kind of like he was giving him some pointers. I think he's supposed to fight Fury coming up here soon. But he was telling him, he was showing him combos, like, this is what you do, like, bam. And he's doing stuff I never even thought of. And he's just like showing him in slow motion, this is what you do. The left is the 1, the right is the 2. And like, you do your combos out like 1-1-2 or 2-2-1 or what. Like, he was showing him all this stuff, but he was doing it fast. Like, he would show it to him slow, and then he'd be like he would do it. And I was like, oh crap. Like, Tyson he still got it. So I would like to see him against Tyson Fury, just for the press conferences and just everything surrounding it. I think that would be pretty cool. Although technically Tyson Fury should knock Mike Tyson out at this point. Right. I mean, we're talking Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in the world today, right now. So, on the other hand, how old was George Foreman when he regained the title? When he came back,
wasn't he right at 40 or something? Or 41?
He was in his 40s. Like I want to say he was like mid to late 40s, like when he won it. So he's not that far off. And I mean, Foreman wasn't exactly in the best shape, when he came back, but he had that.
Foreman was in terrible shape.
He had that fist. He had that if he landed that right
hand,
he landed. I forgot who he beat too. But like, he laid him out like he was putting him down to sleep. Like, he just took some punishment all match and then just went boop boop, and my man fell out and he was asleep. Foreman was the champ, and I was like, oh, Foreman's like 47 years old or whatever. But that can happen. Whoa, that would be crazy for boxing if Mike Tyson was somehow able to, after everything he's been through, to go from the baddest man on the planet to a pariah to whatever he is now. The Hangover movies helped out a lot. Like, his perception has changed. Like, he's become more of an old veteran celebrity guy. People don't hate him. You know what I mean? Like, they're kind of like, oh, that's Mike Tyson. Imagine him beating Tyson Fury or something nuts like that. Like, I don't know if that could even possibly happen.
Yeah, that would be cool. I don't see that happening, but I think it would be really
I'd like
cool
to see it.
If they would get in together and go against each other. Yep.
And then finally, this past weekend, we saw the match 2, Phil versus Tiger, except this time it had a little bit of a twist. They added on Hall of Fame, future Hall of Fame quarterbacks Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, and split them off into pairs. Mickelson was with Brady. Woods was with Manning, and I watched some of it. I'm not the hugest golf fan unless Tiger is involved, which is probably why 6 million people watched this over the weekend. I thought the banter between the four of them was the best part. Like Peyton Manning is hilarious. Like you listen to him talk, and Tom Brady was hilarious too. Like Tom Brady was throwing zingers out there. The best part, I don't know if you got a chance to see it. Charles Barkley was on the announce team, and he was poking at Tom Brady like the whole day. Yeah, and he was like, I'm going to put 100,000 up on this shot. If you hit it or whatever, I'll donate to charity, but I don't think you can get it anywhere near it or something like that. And it was like a 200-foot shot, and Brady hits it and hits the hole, and like it goes in, and like just calmly Tom Brady just starts walking backwards. He's like, suck on that, Chuck. How'd you like that, Chuck? And it was just like hilarious, like the way it was, like the whole studio's laughing at it, like, oh my God, I can't believe that went in. But that was the best part. Phil came out this week and said he would like to make this an annual thing and do it, every year. And I think they could do that even as they got, older. Tiger and Phil could probably do this. My question to you would be, what would be the matchup you would want to see for the match 3? Like what matchups rather? I've got 2 that I want to put out, but I wanted to get your opinion first. Who are 2 guys you'd want to see in this environment? It helped they were all mic'd up. The golf carts were mic'd up, so you could kind of hear them talking throughout each round. Phil and Tiger kind of giving advice to them as they're taking their shots. I thought all that was pretty cool. Yeah. Who would be 2 guys or girls that you'd want to do for the match 3?
Yeah, that's a good question, Dez. And before I get into it, I would like to say I thought that Peyton Manning was a heck of a golfer, man. Yeah. He put some shots down that allowed Tiger to just come in and do his little bit of putting, and they were on up out of there, man. I mean, so I think Peyton Manning did a great job in golf. And like you said, both of those guys were funny. It's a great charity benefit game. And, I think that's something that people would really tune in and watch, and they can really make a lot of money and give some good donations to charity. But as far as seeing people come in and watch, I would love to see Phil partnered with Michael Jordan. Just for the simple fact that we know that Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods are really good friends. They've spent all kinds of money on the golf course between him, Michael Jordan, Chuck, which is Charles Barkley, and old Tiger Woods. We've heard the stories about them, talking trash, betting millions of dollars on holes in the golf course. So I would love to see Michael Jordan partnered with Phil, and I want Mike mic'd up, because from the last dance, we saw how competitive he was. So I would love to see Mike competitive on the golf course and see how he takes this thing. I would love to see Michael Jordan in there.
I've got Michael Jordan on my list, and I have someone that I'd want him against. So I had Michael Jordan too, for all the reasons you just said. I think. Well, I hope that other person is not
Isaiah Thomas.
That's exactly who it is. That's literally who I have down. I have Jordan Thomas written down right here. Like right on my pad. I have Jordan and Thomas written on there. And
now you do realize this is supposed to be a non-violent event, right?
I don't know
see those 2 getting into it.
I don't even know if Isaiah Thomas can play golf. Like I don't know if he can play or not, but can you imagine the ratings for that after what just happened in The Last Dance?
Oh,
and then
God, yes.
This been 2 weeks since it ended, and it's still this whole, Jordan lied about not putting Isaiah on the dream team and all this other stuff that's going on. What if we had Phil Mickelson and Michael Jordan versus Tiger Woods and Isaiah Thomas?
Wow.
All that goes to charity. They're all mic'd up. Isaiah's going to talk smack too.
Oh, yeah.
So can you imagine the conversations that could happen? I could see Phil Mickelson just like being like, see, the problem is Tiger doesn't talk. That's why the first one didn't work as much, because they don't really talk. Well, Tiger doesn't talk that much, but by adding the other 2, that's what made the second one better. And I could just see somebody being like poking at Isaiah, like, yeah, that's why you didn't make the dream team, because you don't know how to putt. Everybody was playing golf the whole trip. You didn't know how to play golf, so that's why we didn't bring you. I mean, stuff like that. Or Isaiah going, that's why I should have been on the dream team, because I can drill it from 40 feet out or whatever it is. Isaiah from Chicago, man, like they would. Between Isaiah and Michael Jordan is known as one of the best trash talkers of all time in any sport. That would be some good TV. Now I don't know if it'd be good golf.
It would be great TV. I could hear Isaiah Thomas right now after Michael Jordan hitting the ball, and let's say it lands in the green or somewhere. Yeah. And I can hear Isaiah Thomas saying, well, Michael Jordan, his lying ass, it didn't land in the fairway.
I would pay money for this. Like, this is something that don't even need to be on regular cable. Put this on pay-per-view. I would pay money to see that. So let's see if we can get something like that together. The other grouping that I had if you want like the two best non-golfing golfers that are out there that are in the athletic world, Steph Curry, who people say is one of the best golfer right now in the NBA, and Tony Romo.
Tony Romo, say my man Tony.
Yeah, Tony Romo is an excellent golfer. He could probably play professional golf on the tour if he wanted to, and he's played some tour events. So if you wanted it to be a golf type of event with people outside of golf, do Tony Romo and Tiger versus Mickelson and Steph Curry, or actually, it doesn't even matter. You can switch them either way. Yeah. So I mean, that could be it. Or I could see Jordan and Curry, although Jordan would be the worst golfer out of those four.
Right.
Then you've got the old guy Jordan, 72 win Bulls, new guy Curry, 73 win Warriors. That whole debate, you could kind of play that out on a golf course. Yeah. So, and all of it goes to charity. So I mean, I think it would be great. I think it's a good idea to do it each year. Hopefully we won't be doing charity for COVID-19 next year while they're doing the next one.
Maybe we'll be doing it for a vaccine or something. I don't know.
Hopefully so, man. So that's pretty much the rundown for this week in terms of things going on out there. We told you we made a promise that we weren't going to just be on like some of these other shows are doing, just to kind of keep it out there. When we see something we want to talk about, we'll come on and do it. But we got plenty of content out there right now. Once again, the greatest NFL team ever bracket. That's going to carry us into the summer the way it looks right now. And new episodes are every Wednesday on sportscarolinamonthly.com, the YouTube channel at Sports Carolina Monthly. Just follow us on Facebook at Sports Carolina Monthly, or on Twitter at Sports Carolina 1. You'll get the info when they drop, so you can get to those links and watch those, because I know everybody's craving sports content right now. Need to thank my man, Hot Rod Funderburk. You'll see him a little bit later on the greatest NFL team too. The Bears bracket, the 85 Bears are overall 1 seed.
That was fun too, by the way.
Yeah, man, that was a good one. It was you and Ryan Stone from IMG Learfield College doing that one. And man, these brackets are about to get nuts as we go into the second round. So definitely check out for that. Want to say thank you to Rod, and we'll be back in just a second with Brandon Blakney interviewing the new head coach of Quality Education Academy, our man Andre Gould, former Winston-Salem Prep head basketball coach over there, making the move over to QEA, and Brandon will have a few words with him. You're watching the rundown.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakney, aka Brandon Lee TV, doing an exclusive interview with Coach Andre Gould, new head coach of QEA. I'm with Sports Carolina Monthly, going to be featured on the rundown. Coach, appreciate you having me. I know you are a popular guy right now, heavy demand.
Hey, appreciate being here. Especially with the media coverage, man. With the new situation. So, and then you're my guy, so it's a pleasure to do
no doubt
for you.
I definitely appreciate it, Coach. Before we dive in, man, I know being a very outspoken individual, leader in the community like yourself, especially for the Black community. I know you're an educator of young Black men, so I definitely wanted to get your thoughts on the Minneapolis situation, George Floyd, and just, how do you think our Black men, our youth, need to react or can react, put this energy into something positive?
I think it's a very big, we can, obviously you see what's going on in our society, and I'm not telling you that all cops are bad, or, all officers of the law are bad, or all judges and things of that nature. But it's a problem when you're watching young Black males die innocently. And then, you're seeing, mass murders, and they're able to escort those gentlemen out, fully intact. So, we know we have a big issue going on, and it's something that's going to have to be addressed openly, publicly, and within our community. America has an issue right now. And we've definitely got to address it, especially with our young Black males.
Mm-hmm.
And, especially when it becomes to a point where, we're seeing guys being handcuffed and, and detained under control. And then we're still going on to abuse them. That's a senseless death. And it's been, George Floyd is not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost as though, we're they're showing us constantly, as though, to try to desensitize us to the assault on our young Black males. And, we can't stand for that. But we've got to figure out a way to get it done, and then we've got to live by our standards ourselves. And and what I mean by that is that the videos, the things that we are glorifying within our music, within our lifestyle, got to cut out as well because in my opinion, we're contributing to that as well. So we got to look on both sides of the fence, but this death is uncalled for, and I hope, and it's sad that we've got to say that word. We hope that justice is served, because they try to put a spin on things of that nature, as though the kid was a bad kid or this and that. The media tries to come out again and try to assault our young black males characters, but no, that's something that we can't stand for, and we've got to figure out a way to get this country together, and we got to stop this. We've got to stop this assault on our black males and females, for that matter, because it doesn't take all that to detain anyone. Once you put the cuffs on and the man is begging for him, it's like, I broke down and just started crying in tears again, and just prayers up. But whatever we can try to contribute peacefully, we need to do that. But at some point, this is going to have to be addressed and not just talked about. It's going to really have to be addressed. All the memes in the world ain't gonna help us. At some point, some action is going to have to be taken. Again, peacefully, to address this issue. And then we've got to teach our young black males and teach our young, our citizens of different races. Hey, we're human, and we're here. We're not here to harm anybody. And if we don't obey the law, fine. We'll again, you can detain us, but there's a way to do things. And right now, the way it's being done is unjust. And so but again, education takes care of a lot of things, and we're gonna get it figured out. And again, we just want it to be peaceful. I hate to see them riding the way they're riding, but unfortunately, when you're fed up, you're fed up. So but again, my prayers go out to his family, to all the victims' family that have been unjustly, murdered. We got to call it what it is.
Agreed.
So, but and it hurts for us to say that. And as you as a young black male that's coming up, we're all fearful. I got 3 young men. That's my personal blood sons, and then countless others that have played for me. And it's a lot of sleepless nights when I hear they out. They're going to a function.
Yes, sir.
You just it's almost that every night when you hear of your people moving around and they come back, it's almost like you take a deep breath, like, okay, everybody's accounted for. And it shouldn't be that way. But we're in a society that we're gonna have to address these issues.
Coach, I know you've been making a personal move of your own a lot of this too. You mentioned how your guys are a very close-knit group, how you run your program, no nonsense, and I know that will continue over at QEA.
Absolutely.
Tell us about the move, what motivated it, and also the history of QEA. I know you're familiar with when the Q's rocking, the city's got a different type of swagger. So how do you plan to restore that as well?
Well, I mean, first of all, at prep, I felt like we have done what we could do there as far as the accomplishments and all of that. And I'm sure I could have stayed in place and just, kept trying to win championships and things of that nature, because ultimately that's what you do it for. And then, obviously, our track record, but not fine young men. But I did want a new challenge, want to go in. All those great things, especially with his athletes and playing the game of basketball. So, we want them to try to take to a different level or another level. But, again, that man did a great job. We're not going to take anything away from him on that. And I'm just blessed to be, called upon to carry on the mantle. And, and obviously QEA is a great institution. I think people need to look into it. Great academic structure. When I sat down with Ms. Bellinger and Mr. Stevenson and Mr. Howard, our vision definitely lined up with this educational piece. And everybody knows me, knows that that's what I'm about, making sure that these young black males graduate and go on to college. And we've done that at Winston-Salem Prep. And now, our same goal is intact at a higher level with QEA. Man, what a gym, man. I'm like, that's like, I don't think people understand what QEA is offering. Like, it's a great campus, great academics. Like, I was really taken aback by everything that they're doing on that campus, So, again, I look forward to it. And just we're hitting the ground running. And, I got full support of our AD. So, Mr. Woodruff, so we are gonna rock on this side of the city, that's for sure, in a big way.
Offers different freedoms than you had at Winston-Salem Prep. Also being in Nike High School as well, having the option to reclass guys, bring in transfers without it being, looked down upon, kind of how it is in public school ball. How are you attacking it? What are you going into with this freedom now re-energized? Because I can tell, man, it feels like you caught your second win.
I'll be the first to tell you that. Right. I mean, again, me and one of my mentors, Mr. Bailey, we got a good saying, a Jay-Z saying, people say they may hope, so, okay, let's go make another one. And that's where I'm at with it. Like, I'm like, okay, let's go make another one. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get it. Like, let's go. You're like, if you can't get excited about this, let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, the reclassing and all that good stuff, we're going to be selective about that process. That's not something that we're, like, hey, this is what we're doing. And then I want the best of the best. The city's got a lot of great players, and don't think I don't want them here. I do. So let's let it be known that Coach Gould wants them over at QEA. But it's enough to go around for everybody. And, and my competitive juices.
Oh, yeah.
Let it be known that we'll play any public school. Don't run, don't hide. Let's get it done. If not, then we're just gonna try to we'll have everybody over at QEA watching us play, because that's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
We again, if you know me, you know that my standards and what I stand for. Again, especially with these young black student athletes, these males, and and I'm not gonna say. Let me reframe that. Just student athletes in general, whether regardless of what race you come from. If you join my family, you know that you're family for life. And even some that haven't joined, they're still family for life, because I'm just in the business of helping kids in general.
Yeah.
People know that about me. So it don't matter. Even down to you. You know what I'm saying? Because you play sports, and anytime you call upon me, I'm there for you.
Yes, sir.
So I look forward to it, man. Yes. And to answer your question, yeah, I'm the Energizer Bunny right now.
Now, I know a friend of yours too, Coach Lowe, made the move to Moravian. Both you guys, two powerhouses coming in right in the heart of the city. I feel like we needed it with the Greensboro Days and the Wesleyan Christians of the world. It was time this would happen. Everybody obviously sees that rivalry, but how is it beneficial, in your opinion, to have two programs and two great coaches heading it, with now that y'all have the resources to really get it rocking?
Well, just so you know, let it be known, Coach Lowe gonna get it now. I'm gonna give it to him. Hey, and I know right now when he see this, he gonna be like, oh no, I gotta have an interview. Dre can't talk to me like that. No, but Coach Lowe, like, you know, he's really like my little brother, but you know, in a great way. Like we talk like literally every day or every other day. We're calling each other like, you know, hey man, like, can you believe that we're both in the same city? Like, you know, and before, you know, even when he was at Moravian Prep and we was at Forest Trails, I was the only public high school that would play him. Same way, you know, Moravian Prep. Like, I literally like enjoy it. And if it, you know, iron sharpens iron, as they say. And what Coach Lowe has done is nothing less than remarkable. A man of great character and integrity, and that's the thing that I like about him. That our visions and our character line up with each other. You know what I'm saying? You know, and you know, my pastor's always told me, try the spirit by the spirit. And if the spirit lines up, then that's probably somebody you want to deal with. And so, you know, that was the first thing me and Coach Lowe said. Everybody gonna try to pit us against each other. And I said, exactly. I said, but here's the thing. You know me and you're gonna compete against each other, but we'll be the first ones to walk off the court hugging each other, laughing it up, win, lose, or draw. That's just who we are. You know, that don't mean that we're not gonna compete against each other, because we are. You know, because you know we're here. Why wouldn't we? You know. Exactly. But it's past respect. We know we respect each other, but there's a brotherhood there as well. And if it's something that I need or something that he needs, so the good thing about us, and we've always done this, is that we've been quick to call each other. You know, if we just need advice from each other, just want to talk, chopping basketball, or, you know, hey, I got coaches coming my way in my gym. You know, what time you working out? You know, we try to schedule it around each other. Like, so we want to work together, because when coaches in the city, we don't make sure that everybody, you know, gets to see everybody. You know, we don't want to just say, okay, well, I'm going to be selfish and do this. You know, that was one of the reasons why I started going at 6 a.m. because I wanted to get out of the way of the city. You know, one, get a good practice in. Two, make sure coaches didn't have to have a difficult time of choosing which way they wanted to go. And then three, help out some other kids in the city that coaches need to see. And so I wanted to make sure when the coach came around, things of that nature, that the coach gets to see him, you know, during that day. So, I mean, again, like I said, me and Lowe, we work well together. But just so he know, I got to grab him. Just so he know. But no, Coach Lowe, you know I love you, man. I'm kidding with that part of it. I'm not kidding, but I am kidding. But it's all in the game. But you know I'm coming to see you. QEA is coming to see you. And yes, we do want that gym packed on both sides of the fence. We want it packed. So, you know, we here. I mean, again, listen, man, it's been a long time since I've had this kind of energy when it comes to, you know, creating a program or being a part of a program. Again, and think about it, man, it's QEA. I mean, who can't be excited about that job? You know what I'm saying? Exactly, the Q. You said, I like what you're doing. The Q, see? We put that out there. And you know, we got the other one too. Miss Bellinger hit me with one like the other day, the community with a Q.
Oh, I
said,
like that.
I say that, the community with a Q. I said, okay.
Tell
I go with that.
Coming soon. Y'all need them.
Oh, we got it coming. You didn't see it. Look at the picture.
Hey, I need a small.
Did you see the logo?
I need a small.
You need a small? I got you.
I need it.
I got you. You know I got you now.
Hey, Coach, man, I appreciate
you know I am the apparel king. When it comes to gear, you know I am the gear guy.
Oh, load it up. Load it up.
So you know I got you.
And Coach, man, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for everything you do for the game, for me, for the group, the community, just being an outstanding guy. Congratulations, man, QEA. I'm hyped for you guys, you and Coach Lowe. Know it's gonna be some barn burners going on. And thanks for the interview, man. Let them know where they can find you on social media to follow you guys' journey.
For sure. Before we get off, man, let us not again forget what's going on with our young males right now.
Yes, sir.
You know, let's make sure that we pray, stay prayed up, and understanding that as one of my sayings is, God can, God will, and at the end, God did. And remember, guys, when it's all said and done, he who works the hardest reaps the greatest rewards. Let's get it done.
Coach, appreciate you, man. And let them know where they can find you guys on social media as well.
Oh, at QEA Basketball, all that good stuff. At QEA Basketball or QEA Hoops. On Instagram, we're on Twitter, Facebook. You go to our webpage, QEAschools.org. We're here. Application is on there. middle school basketball, girls basketball, football, track, you name it, we got it. Varsity girls, varsity boys basketball, tennis, you want to play a little golf, we got it. And at the end of the day, like I told you, Newsweek ranks us 21 in the state overall, education-wise. So we here. And as the songwriter said, we ain't going nowhere. We here.
Hey, books and ball, I love it, Coach. I appreciate you again, man. Been Brandon Blakney here with Sports Carolina Monthly in the Rundown. Desmond Johnson signing off.
Hey there, this is Rod Funderburk, and you've been watching an episode of The Rundown with Desmond Johnson. In order to watch more episodes of The Rundown with Desmond Johnson, please subscribe to Sports Carolina Monthly's YouTube channel.